Okay, let's start with the core idea of Karl Marx's theory of history, which is known as historical materialism. Marx believed that history is not shaped by ideas, religion, or morality, but rather by material and economic conditions, specifically how people produce and distribute resources. This economic structure forms the base of society and influences everything else, including culture, politics, and ideology. There are two essential components of this structure: the forces of production, such as tools, land, and labor. Secondly, the relations of production, which refers to who owns and controls those resources. According to Marx, it's the conflict between these social classes, especially between those who own the means of production and those who work for them, that drives historical change. For example, feudalism gave way to capitalism due to such internal class tensions. So now let's have a look about key thinkers. Marx's ideas were shaped by several key thinkers. First, from Hegel, he adopted the concept of dialectical change, but instead of focusing on ideas, Marx applied it to material life. Second, Feuerbach introduced him to materialism, emphasizing real human condition over abstract beliefs. Lastly, Darwin's theory of evolution, especially the idea of struggle, helped Marx understand class conflict as a historical force. So, this framework sets the stage for how Marx interpreted society's past and how he envisions its future.
Now, I will continue with introducing Charles Darwin and the relation of his idea with Karl Marx. Charles Darwin was a biologist, geologist, and a naturalist, and he was born on February 12 in the years of 1809 in England. He is recognized as one of the top geniuses in biology and is known as the father of evolution. This is because scientific observation during his voyage on the HMS Beagle laid the foundation for his groundbreaking idea about how species change over time. In 1859, he published his book with name On the Origin of Species, a work that transformed the study of life science by explaining how organisms evolved through that increased their chance of survival and reproductions. His work not only revolutionized biology but also deeply influenced fields like genetics, anthropology, and psychology, that making him one of the most important figures in the history of science. After introducing Charles Darwin, let's see what the theory of evolution is. This theory is the scientific explanation for how living organisms change over time through a process called natural selection. The theory states that all species of life has descended from common ancestors. Over generations, individuals with traits that help them survive and reproduce are more likely to pass through traits on their offspring. This gradual change in inherited traits lead to the development of new species. In short, evolution explains that species change over time through natural selection, where only the fittest survive. Okay, after finish introducing Charles Darwin's theory, which is theory of evolution, but what the relation between his theory and Karl Marx's theory, which is theory of historical materialisms. Now, let's continue. Charles Darwin and Karl Marx are two great thinkers of the 19th century who changed the way we understand the world through nature and the other one through society. When Darwin published his book, Marx read the book, and the theory support a view of the world based on struggles, change, and progress through natural force, which is ideal match with Marx's own view of how society evolved through class struggles, which is the poor and the rich, the rulers and the workers. The theory inspired the idea of Karl Marx that history is not shaped by religions but material conditions. and every major shift in history was driven by change in how people produce and share resources. Then, Marx saw Darwin theory as proof that change is natural, which is in life and in society. But he thinks if animals evolve through natural struggles, then humans evolve through the society, the social and economic struggles. So, historical materialism is like evolutions, but not same with natural struggles. It is in the world of people, power and productions. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Noalatika binti Muhammad Zubir. My metric number is 291377. Today, I would like to introduce about George Hegel. He was born in 1770 and passed away in 1831. He was born in Stuttgart. The Hegel family was a middle-class family. He studied theology and philosophy at the Tübingen University. His first major publication was the Phenomenology of Spirit, 1887, a complex analysis of the development of human consciousness. He was a German philosopher and one of the creators of German idealism. Next, Hegel's dialectical process is a method of understanding the development of idea, story, and reality through contradiction and resolution. It is often simplified into a three-stage model. The first is thesis. This is the initial idea or condition. The second is antithesis. The thesis naturally general is opposite a conflicting idea or force that challenge it. The third is synthesis. Through the conflict between thesis and antithesis, a high-level understanding or new idea emerges that resolve the contradiction while preserving aspect of both. Next is Hegelian influence on Karl Marx. Marx combined Hegel dialectic with materialism to develop his theory of history. He called this dialectical materialism. In every history approach, the prevailing method of process of production produce a set of relations of production that support them. For Marx, history is a process through which the static relation of production come into eventual conflict with the dynamic process of production. Conflict revolutionizes the system so that new relation of production permit the higher development of the process of production. Next is Ludwig Feuerbach. He was born in 1804 and passed away in 1872. He was born into a Lutheran family, gaining his doctorate from the University of Erlangen in 1828. The famous book is The Essence of Christianity, 1841. It explains Feuerbach's philosophy and critique of religion. He was a German anthropologist and philosopher. Next is Feuerbach materialism. Philosophical materialism refers to an emphasis on matter, real things, or the world of reality as contrasted to the realm of idea. In his Essence of Christianity, Feuerbach distinguished between the idealism versus the real. He believed human nature, needs, and relationship are grounded in the material world, not in divine realms. To Feuerbach, history consists of the process through which people come to know and accept reality through use of their sense perception. Next is Feuerbach's influence on Karl Marx. Marx replaced Hegel's idealism with a modified version of Ludwig Feuerbach's concept of philosophical materialism. Marx agreed that religion is a human creation, a projection of human need and desire. Marx shifted the focus to society, class, and economy, arguing that human nature is shaped by social and economic conditions, not just biology or emotion. Marx developed historical materialism, that idea that material condition and class struggle drive historical development. That's all for me. Thank you.
Now, we're moving on to Karl Marx's theory of history. So, this theory centers on the relationship between forces of production and the relations of productions. In each time, the forces of productions, mainly technology, capital, labor skills, continuously evolve and change. On the other hand, the relations of productions, social rules and property relations remain relatively static and are upheld by the superstructure which is like include arts, religion, and politics. History progresses through conflict between these elements, the changing forces of productions, which can be stated as thesis, come into conflict with the static relations of productions or antithesis, leading to revolutionary change and new relations of productions, which is the synthesis. This process moves forwards when changing tools and method clash with old social rules, leading to conflict and big changes. This conflict is driven by struggles between social classes, causing old systems to be replaced with the new ones. Now, these changes or development by the societies is categorized by Karl Marx into six different stages. So Marx's view of how societies develop through these six specific stages. The first stage is the primitive communism, and as we know, the early societies has no class divisions or exploitations. People shared land communally, produce only enough for substance, and also it means that it made surplus and slavery impossible. Now, the second stage is the slave society with increased production efficiency, surplus creation become possible, leading to slavery and also the class conflict. However, as we all know, slavery eventually become a barrier to progress due to low worker motivation and rebellions. Now, for the third stage, we have the feudalism, which is characterized by visible exploitation of serfs by lords or the landowner. The landowner worked part of the week for themselves as part of the for the lord. This led to higher productivity, but eventually limited to the any kind of further development. Next one, we have capitalism, which is marked by the significant productivity gains, but also internal contradictions like unemployment and worker exploitations. These facts generate class struggle and social unrest between the society. Next one, we have the socialism, which occurs when the working class overthrows the previous stage, which is the capitalism. As previously mentioned, this establishes public ownership of capital and land, planned production, and also the eliminations of the profit motive by uh, by the landowner, while still allowing private property in consumer goods. And last but not least is the uh, last stage or the sixth stage, which is the communism. This is the final stage where the state fades away, class distinctions disappear, and also society is based on common ownership and cooperation without competition or exploitation. Now, these six stages is what Karl Marx believed to be the or how the social development is going to get through.
Now, let's delve into the last part, the conclusion. To conclude, Marx's theory of history provides a powerful framework for understanding how societies can change over time, not through ideas or ideals, but through material and economic forces. He emphasized that class struggle is central to shaping social, political, and economic systems. Throughout history, the tension between those who own and those who labor has been the driving force behind societal transformation. Marx's work um, also offer a strong critique of capitalism. He highlighted how it leads to exploitation, growing inequality, and deep systematic contradictions that cannot be resolved within system itself. Even today, Marx's ideas remain influential, not only in academic fields like sociology, political science, and economics, but also in shaping modern social movements that fight for labor's rights, justice, and equality. Ultimately, Marx didn't just aim to explain the world, he called for us to change it. His theory encourages not just analysis, but active participation in transforming society through collective action.